Oh, hey. Welcome to In My Head.
Hey there.
Episode 4 of Season 3.
Yeah, hey there, how's it going? Hey.
Ben, I can't hear. The music's so loud, Ben.
It is a little bit loud. There we go.
Hey, Ben, look what I got in the mail.
Yeah, you got a package there. What you doing?
Yeah, I think it's from my mom in Florida.
Ah!
I think she wrapped it in Fort Knox.
She
Yeah. Oh,
She
there's
did.
more tape.
Oh, man.
So she said that she sent me some stuff, but she also said she sent you cookies.
Oh, she did?
Yeah, look at this right here.
Oh, Grandma.
So
Look at that. Is that for me? Is that all for me?
it has my name on the box.
Oh, okay.
So
Hey. No. Hey, you keep those over here. Those are my
well,
cookies. Grandma sent me cookies.
No,
There are my cookies.
I got one.
There we go.
Thanks, Mom.
Thank you, Grandma. He only stole one of them this time. That's awesome.
You gotta take the card, not just put a spoon in your mouth.
I do not understand what you are
There's
saying.
no rules on this show.
Huh? Oh, yeah. Eating male
Thanks
cookies.
for the fish, guys. The cookies I put in my mouth.
Yeah. Well, you know, hey.
But there's no.
What's the matter? Okay. Feel better?
I do.
There you go. Okay.
So, welcome to the show, everybody. Thank you for coming on. Thank you for being here.
Absolutely.
We have a great show for you today.
We do, yes. On this great rainy day, right? It's probably raining everywhere.
It's a great rainy day.
It is.
Do you think anyone ever says it's going to be a bad show today?
Yeah. Hey, guys, welcome in. Today's show is just going to be terrible. You're going to hate every second of it.
Well, for those of you that don't know, my name is Sean. I'm a kids pastor. I'm also a ministry director at our district.
Absolutely.
Woo!
And my name is Ben. I am a director of my room, and I direct nothing. I'm an assistant. I'm an assistant to kids ministry. Yes.
We are from Rockland. We go to Destiny Christian Church, but this is a show about the creativity, the behind the scenes of kids ministry. It's conversation based. It's live, and therefore it's completely prone to failure. Okay, so if something goes wrong, it's Ben's fault.
Oh, right? Yeah. If it goes wrong, I'll take care of it.
Leadership fact: always blame your assistant. That way, you never look bad as a leader.
And then, pro tip for assistants out there: the blame just keeps going down a chain until eventually the person on the bottom catches it all. So keep pushing it down.
Like the little old lady that comes in and helps stuff envelopes every Sunday.
Yeah, just volunteering, like, hey.
All right.
You want to talk about our what we're talking about today? The topic we have an interview today.
Our topic today is getting kids involved in kids ministry. What? Like you actually involve kids? I don't know if you can see up here, Ben. I'm going to steal your camera.
Go for it.
Check this out. Right above me, it says, "For the kids, by the kids." That's because kids should be involved in ministry.
Absolutely.
There you go, Ben.
Hi there.
Hi, Ben.
Back to you. Or back to us.
Involving kids in ministry. We actually have 2 special guests today. Actually, we have 3. We have 3 special guests today. So we're going to get right into it. I love going back and watching old videos. One, to see how terrible they were. But every now and then, Ben, I find a really old video that we did. And I'm like, it still holds up.
It's fun. I like those videos.
So we have a brand new segment for you guys today called the Nut House Vault. Now, I have to preface this. This is from Youth Convention, like back in 2018 to 2017, 2013. I don't remember.
Right.
But we had a bunch of people in it. Thousand Foot Crutch was in it. This segment starts off with KJ52, John Zick. I did not get his permission to show this video. Doesn't matter. He gets in the car. KJ52 drives like a maniac. He ends up jumping off the roof and meets the comedian Dennis Gaxiola, and then that's where we'll stop it from there. But here, this is from Youth Convention a long time ago.
Hey, thanks, man.
Oh, no problem, man. Where you going?
Youth convention in Roseville.
Hey, that's where I'm heading. That's actually where we're going right now. We're going to youth convention.
Awesome.
You do recognize who I am, right?
Should I?
Well, maybe this will help. Maybe I should play you a little something.
That's not it. Crazy jumping into my yard. Say hello to my little friend. When 2 or 3 are gathered, and these right here are 2, I will lay on you. Lucky I'm almost safe, man. I'm gonna tell that, homeboy. They jumping over your fences, trying to snatch your people up.
Oh man, that was so what? 2008?
It's 2008.
No, that was
later
way.
than that.
2010.
You know, here's a little behind the
12?
scenes. KJ52 is a Christian rap artist, hip hop artist. He's based out of Florida. I asked him because he was coming to perform, and I said, hey, can you get in front of a green screen and then pretend you're in a car and look around and say, hey, you know who I am? So that wasn't actually him in the car. When we got the video from him, it was him parked in his car in front of a brick wall.
Right.
And this is like way back when like After Effects technology really wasn't that great, and so that's why he looked all like crazy. And then the other funny part of that is when what was I thinking about, Ben?
You were thinking about
The other behind the scenes fact. Funny about that.
well, the location of it was very convenient.
The location. It's funny because we shot that probably like 7 or 8 years before I ended up at Destiny. We literally shot that at Destiny and in front of the road going by Destiny. And what you know, it was Destiny. So it ended up at Destiny. Fun fact. All right, Ben, it's time to go to our website.
Website of the week.
All right, Ben.
All right, this
What's
week.
our website?
Hold on.
I had Ben pick this website out.
Yes,
this is a
this week-
website
this week-
everyone needs to know about.
Right, hold on. Now this week is hosted by me. Okay, so the website for this week is a website.
Are you even ready for this?
Oh, I'm ready for this. I promise.
I'm going to
Hold
eat
on.
more of your cookies.
No, it's fine. That's hidden. So, okay. So the website of the week is called. Sorry, 1 second. It's called a Google. So if you see here, I'll put it. If you don't know what it is, you can Google it. That's website of the week.
I'm taking over. No, that doesn't even get a website intro. Ben, you just lost another cookie.
Nope, they're hidden now.
Another cookie.
I put them somewhere.
All right, hey, we're going to move on to our very first guest of the day. Today we're talking about getting kids involved in ministry, so it would be an absolute crime if we didn't have a kid on the show.
Absolutely.
So
I'm gonna disappear.
I had the privilege of flying out to Texas, and when I was there on a little trip, I got to make a video with my good friend Hutson. So I'm actually going to show you the video now. This is a new segment we're launching in our Nuthouse videos called Kid Talks. And Ben, you may have to cue it up to the right spot.
Yeah,
I
I
believe
will.
4 minutes and 10 seconds in. But I did a little interview with Hutson in his bedroom, and then we moved outside to his yard and did some shenanigans. Check it out. Hello, I'm Sean. Do you want to go outside and break stuff?
Warning. Don't try this, ever.
Breaking stuff.
Well, Hudson, you ready to break some stuff? Step aside, let me show you how it's done.
Move over, let the unprofessional do it.
That was great, Hudson. But you know what? There's no more money in this ATM booth. Step aside!
hate this STU. Well, this is what I call Christmas nightmare.
Yeah! This is what we call a rock smoothie.
This is what I call lights out. Break stuff.
Breaking stuff.
That was part of Kid Talks. That video is literally going to go live this week on our YouTube channel, on our Joe's Nut House YouTube channel. We'll re-interview kids. That's a new segment we're launching. But we have the absolute privilege of having the star of that video with us today in our home apartment studio. Please give a warm welcome to Mr. Hutson.
Hi.
Hi, Hutson.
Hi.
How you doing, Hutson?
Good.
Remember doing Kid Talks?
Yep.
Do you remember me asking you a bunch of useless questions?
Yes.
You remember me asking you questions about everything about your life, like your animals
No.
and your toys,
I only remember toys.
and naming 99 cats?
Oh yeah, 99 cats.
Yeah. So here's a fun fact. When we went to go break that stuff, do you remember where we got that stuff?
Actually, yeah.
Remember we went through the thrift store?
Yep.
And when we were going through the thrift store, remember you and I were finding stuff to break?
Yes.
And people, remember there was people there that were like, "Hey, this would look nice in my house." And then you go, "Hey, this looks good to break." Remember that? Okay, Hudson. Just so everyone knows, how old are you?
8.
8 years old. What's your name, Hudson?
Hudson,
Your name's Hudson?
you just said it.
Okay, good. Did I say it right?
Yes.
Okay, is the Q silent in your name?
There's no Q.
Oh, okay. Just making sure. So, Hudson, where do you live right now?
Texas.
You live in Texas. What do you like to do in Texas? Tell us some of your hobbies. What are your favorite things to do?
I don't know.
You don't know?
I don't know.
Do you have any favorite YouTube channels?
Yeah.
What are some of those?
The one I'm on right now.
You like Joe's Nut House
Yeah.
and Nut House Media?
And Nut House Media.
You know what that deserves?
What?
You can't hear it.
Oh, you can't hear it because you're not wearing headphones. But I gave you an applause. All right. Okay. Do you know any jokes? Mr. Hudson?
Yes.
Tell us a joke.
What do you say when a doctor is allergic to apples?
What?
A doctor away keeps the doctor away. I think I said it wrong.
It still got laughter.
That was awesome.
You got laughter on that one. So, Hudson, I want to talk about kids' church. You go to kids' church, Hudson?
Yep.
Okay. So, before you moved to Texas, you actually lived here and you went to my kids' church.
Yes.
Remember that?
Mm-hmm.
So, what are some things that you love about going to kids' church?
The characters, the puppets.
Okay.
Yeah.
What else do you like about kids? What do you learn anything at kids' church?
Yeah.
What do you learn about?
I'd say yesterday I learned about Matthew chapter 5.
Yes. Good job. And what did we talk about yesterday in Matthew chapter 5?
We learned the Beatitudes.
The Beatitudes. I love it. And what else happened yesterday, Hudson? Yesterday was a very special day.
We
for you.
met the
What's that?
cardboard cowboys.
You met the cardboard cowboys. But something even more special than that.
Yep.
What did you get to do yesterday? In the morning at church in front of 1,000 people.
I got baptized.
You got baptized. Can you tell everyone what it means to be baptized? Like, why do people get baptized?
So all of the sin that they did gets wiped away in that water.
Yeah, it's kind of like Jesus forgives your sin,
Yeah.
right? And then the water is symbolic of you being born again, right?
Mm-hmm.
What did it feel like when you came out of that water? What was your feeling when you came out of the water?
Wiggly,
Wiggly?
fresh.
fresh. You felt fresh.
And also, one more thing. One of the coolest things of all. I got hypothermia.
You got hypothermia.
Mm-hmm.
One of the many gifts of getting baptized is
Yep.
getting hypothermia.
Uh-huh. Hypothermia.
Well, Hudson, what you've told people that you work for Destiny.
I do.
Yeah, and what do you do when you say you work for Destiny? What do you mean by that? What special thing do you do for our kids' church? Even when you're all the way over in Texas.
I'm a puppet.
You're a puppet. You're
I'm a puppet.
the voice of a puppet.
I'm a voice
and
of
what
a puppet.
puppet are you the voice of?
Sparkles, the magic rabbit, the great Zambonis.
Yes.
Pet, technically.
So everyone, this is really amazing. So I was visiting, and Hudson and I were walking through a grocery store, and picking up some chips or something. Some chips. And he started talking about he started doing voices. You remember this, Hudson? You were just doing random voices. And I remember we started talking about the puppet rabbit that you actually named. Do you remember naming Sparkles?
I named him.
That's right. In fact, another fun fact, if you guys ever look at Chud from the Beach Bums, he wears, what kind of shirt does Chud wear?
He wears a sloth with a Flash costume.
Right. And why does Chud wear that shirt?
It's a symbol of me. My favorite animal used to be a sloth, and my favorite superhero used to be the Flash.
Right. And so Chud found that shirt and was like, in honor of Hudson. He wears that shirt everywhere. In fact, someone needs to tell him to wash it because it's getting really gross.
Yes.
All right. But then Zamboni needed a friend, and so we created Sparkles. You named Sparkles. But then we're walking through the grocery store, and you're doing voices, and I don't remember if you said, could I do the voice of Sparkles, or I said that. You said that?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, here's what I want to, before you do the voice, I want to show a clip. So we just made Santa's Hat 7. It's our newest Santa's Hat. We want to show a clip from Santa's Hat 7, so enjoy this.
Let's do it.
As Caleb ponders the meaning of all of this, they continue their journey, having no idea of what awaits them just around the corner.
Yep, Caleb. This is part of what I do each day to capture joy at Christmas time.
Hello, and welcome to the Christmas magical show of magic and wonder extravaganza, starring the great Zamboni. That's me, the Zamboni. Oh, yes, and Sparkles too. Are you ready to see magic?
No. Yes.
Prepare your minds to be exploding with Christmas magic. Here we go. 3, 2, 1, skittish! 3, 2, 1, skittish!
Nothing will happen until you pull me off the briefcase.
Oh, okay, fine. 3, 2, 1.
Skadoosh!
Look, Caleb, a Christmas tree farm. No, first.
So that was Sparkles,
Sparkles.
That was all your voice, unedited.
All of my voice unedited.
Okay, before I want you to do Sparkles for us, but before you do that, do you remember how we recorded this? Remember you guys were at home and in Texas?
FaceTime, record on the phone.
We did FaceTime, record on the phone. So all of you guys out there, whether you're a kids pastor or even a family at home watching, if you want to do something cool, the technology in your phone is amazing. In fact, the camera right now that's on Hudson is essentially my iPhone. Mm-hmm. So you can do anything with an iPhone these days. Man, back in the day, you couldn't do all this stuff. But now you can, even if you're not even in the same room. So I was really impressed by that. But we're walking to the grocery store, Hudson, and you started talking like Sparkles. Yeah. And sometimes, and I'm going to give you a little secret, a kid's pastor secret, okay, Hudson? Sometimes when a kid says that they're good at something, you encourage them and you say, "Oh, you're great at it, buddy," right? But the nut house stuff is really, it has to be high quality. You got to have some high standards. You know what I mean, Hudson? You can't just lower your standards. You got to have high standards. Say high standards.
High standards.
That's right. You got to have high standards. And so when you did that voice, sometimes with kids, I'll say, "Oh, that's really great. That's so good," right?
Yep.
But it's not that good. They got to work on it, right? But when you did the voice, I genuinely was impressed. So without further ado, I would be honored if you could use the voice of Sparkles. So let me talk to you as if you're Sparkles, okay? All right, ready? All right, here we
Wait,
go.
I need to get it.
You gotta, okay.
Listen up, everybody.
Okay, here we go. So, Sparkles, what's it like being Zamboni's assistant?
Not that cool.
Why isn't it that cool? What does Zamboni do to you?
Let me think, real quick.
Say, can you say skadoosh? Like,
Skadoosh.
there's something raspy about that voice and very kid-like and innocent-like, almost like this rabbit has intelligence but it's also very young. He's very young, and so that's when I heard that I was like, this light bulb came on, and I was like, that's it. That's the voice of Sparkles.
Wait, let me do the briefcase part.
Okay, the briefcase. Say the briefcase line.
All you gotta do is pull me on a briefcase.
When we did that, first of all, that deserves this. When we did that, though, it was the second take. You get it. You have this part of your brain. So let me ask you this. Why do you think it's important for kids to be involved in kids ministry? Not just to be kids that watch, but kids that do. Why is that important?
Because when you're kids, you don't really have like, let me think. One second. Oh, okay. I got it.
Okay.
When you're a kid, you don't have the. Oh my gosh, I forget it.
That's all right. Let me reword it. Why is it important? Why is it first of all, is it important for kids to be a part of kids, like to do things in kids service, or is it better if they just sit back and watch?
It's better for kids to do stuff and
to do stuff. Why is it important for kids to do stuff? Why do you think that's important?
Because kids don't have the power to actually do stuff in the world yet.
And
yeah.
so because kids can't really do stuff yet in the world, in kids church they can do stuff. Mm-hmm. Like you can give them the freedom to do stuff that they normally wouldn't be able to do out in the world. Like be on stage or do voiceovers or make videos or things like that, right? Mm-hmm. That's a great answer, Hutson. So do you think it's important for kids pastors to train kids up, to teach them to be doers instead of just receivers?
Doers.
Yeah. Do you know what receivers are?
No,
a receiver, like you play football, right?
Uh-huh.
So
well,
receiver,
not anymore.
Not anymore. Okay. Too many tackles?
No.
Okay.
There was an accident.
Oh, I'm sorry to hear that.
Not like bad accident.
Not like a piano fell out of the sky and landed on you?
No, not like that kind of accident.
Oh, okay. All right. Hey, I think it's important to involve kids because I think kids are brilliant. I think kids are smart. And just like you, when you did that voice in the store, you became the voice of Sparkles, just like that. And if you don't give kids a shot, then you're missing out on a big part of your kids' ministry. Would you say that's true, Hutson?
True.
Would you say true? Hutson, do you have any wisdom for me as a kids pastor? Is there something that I could do that would just help my kids' ministry make it even better?
I mean, it's already good.
Oh, wow. Thanks.
It's hard to think of something else you could do.
What's something we should do in kids' church? More of. Should I light Ben on fire?
No.
No? Okay.
Why not?
Ben just said why not.
Yeah.
Okay, what one last question, Hutson. What is a piece of advice you would give to kids pastors all over the world?
Let kids do things they could never do at the age that they're at.
High five. Boom. That was Hutson, everyone.
Ow.
Hutson, thank you so much.
I
I'm going to bring in another special guest, but don't go anywhere because I'm going to eat more Ben's cookies. And you know what? I'm going to give you some of Ben's cookies. All right, you want some of Ben's cookies?
I want some Ben's cookies.
Okay. All right. Hey, our next guest, and a big thank you to Hutson and Rachel for making this happen today. Involve kids in your kids' church. But I want to now invite my friend Jonathan Aleman. Jonathan is a good friend of mine. He's a children's pastor at Bethel Church San Jose. He runs a big kids ministry over there. Just meeting with him, he'll say that I inspire him. Oh, sorry. Hutson needs to do his chores right now. I let him do things at home too. Oh!
No!
Is he still on?
Help me! Help me!
You know what? This is a great interruption. Hudson,
Help
you can't
me!
do stuff in kids' church unless you do stuff at home first.
Help me! No!
Parents everywhere just did this.
No!
George.
Yep.
No!
All right. It's now time to introduce my good friend Jonathan. Hey, Jonathan, how's it going?
It's going well. Thank you for having me, Sean. How are you?
I'm great. Hey, are your kids old enough to do chores at home?
They are. I don't think they can be too young to do chores.
Ooh, that's good wisdom right there.
That's
Okay.
so little.
So, number one, I know I already gave it away. You're the children's pastor at Bethel Church San Jose. But more importantly than that, what is behind you? Because I'm really distracted by awesomeness.
Well, I'm a really big Star Trek fan, as you can see. I'm just kidding. It's Star Wars, stuff that I've been collecting since I was little.
Okay.
I have lightsabers, I have helmets, I have water bottles. Yeah, I even have more stuff that's not even visible, but yeah,
I love it.
It's a lot of fun.
Okay, so here, I want to put a challenge out to there. Behind you, it would be the viewer's upper left. There's a little brown creature. Don't say his name, but if anyone watching, it's the little brown. It's Jabba's pet, and you can't Google this, okay? But if a viewer's watching and you know the name of that character, then you can call yourself a true Star Wars fan.
Can I say it?
Jonathan, do you know the name of it? Just before I don't want to throw you under the bus.
Yes.
Okay. Ben is not allowed to answer.
Darn it.
Ben is going to use his website of the week, Google.
No, I already know what it is. I don't need Google.
Okay.
I was raised by a Star Wars fan.
So, Jonathan, tell us, how long have you been in kids ministry for?
I've been doing it I've been at this church for 5 years. I've been doing eight total.
8 years. Did you know that you've lasted longer than I think some people have? A lot of people have.
Probably most.
You're now considered a veteran in kids ministry.
Wow, I don't like that word.
You're a veteran.
Yes.
You're a veteran, my friend.
I'm already feeling old as it is, and to be a veteran, sign me up for the AARP.
Well, so you've been doing kids ministry for 9 years, you said?
8.
Oh, 8 years. 8 years. And here's the thing I love about, now I've had the privilege of coming and seeing some of your events. I've had this privilege of seeing your space. I want to talk about, we're talking today about involving kids in your kids ministry. So what are some ways that you have involved kids in your kids ministry? Because I know this sounds like, well, yeah, you use kids, but I think there's some people that don't understand the value of the power of using kids. So what are some ways that you've used kids in your kids ministry?
So for us at our church, we call them junior servers, and what they do is they can serve in our media booth. We have a light board, we do slides, they can help pass out our currency, which is Bethel coin. And so my idea behind it, actually my wife and I, our idea behind it was if we can train them young and they find something that they like, that they can continue, they grow older. And so when we remodeled, we bought the Little Brother soundboard, the Little Brother light board, to the gym, which would be the next step up for them for the youth group. So that way, if they start out in kids ministry and they feel comfortable enough, they can go into youth ministry, and it's going to be the bigger brother board of what we have. And from there, they would feel comfortable going into main service and being able to handle the main service board, which since we've been here for 5 years, we've seen that transition. So it's been pretty cool.
That's awesome. Going way back, and we can even bring Ben into this conversation. Did you go to, and I don't know your backstory when you were a youngin', but did you attend kids ministry when you were a kid?
I did.
And I'm not. This is not a leading question by any means, but describe your experience as a kid in kids ministry back in the day versus, well, I would just say, just describe your. Did you have a good experience as a kid in kids ministry?
I believe the longest that I can remember back to is being in that 4th and 5th grade level, and it being boring. And pastor, I didn't want that for our 4th and 5th graders, and so if I can't have fun, then how am I going to expect anybody to have fun on Sunday morning?
Yeah, I when I was a kid in kids church, all I can remember is getting in trouble constantly. I remember I would pull the chairs out for my friends, and they would fall on the floor, and everyone would laugh. And I remember enjoying laughing and causing problems, but then being yelled at. And there was one time that the Sunday school teacher is actually my friend Caleb's mom. She pointed out that I was like an athlete, and I remember that made me feel like super good. And if you know me now, I'm not an athlete at all, but it made me feel really good. And that kind of really carried with me, like feeling good as a kid in a space, I think is so important, man, because boring was the key word. Like that was like, it was Jesus loves me, Father Abraham, and then sit down and listen to a felt board story for 30 minutes.
And you forgot Duck Duck Goose.
Duck Goose.
Biggest part.
Why is it that kids church sometimes is the most unimaginative place?
It's sad.
Yeah.
It's I think, I don't want to diss any churches, but
No. Yeah.
Kids ministry is just an afterthought. They worry about executive pastors, they worry about youth pastors, and then when it comes down to the kids pastors, there's no budget. There's just volunteer basism, and it's not really screened. And so you get someone who is, I can help out with kids, and they don't enjoy it, and it puts a bad taste in a kid's mouth when this should be the foundation that we're building, because if they really grasp it young, they're going to enjoy it as they grow up.
Yeah. You said a bit ago that the kids in your kids ministry, you have them work in the tech booth or you have them work behind the scenes or whatever, that when they move forward to the next step, it's the big brother edition, right?
Yes.
So what was your experience? Because you had and again, folks, none of these conversations are scripted. This is just real conversation here. I don't pre-talk to Jonathan about answers. But you said that you didn't have a good kids ministry, or you didn't have a good kids ministry experience growing up. So how did that affect your mind when the first time you got approached about being a kids pastor, or God laid it on your heart? What was your experience the first time it got laid on your heart to be a kids pastor?
So at the time, my wife and I were serving in Lincoln, where you guys are from, in a small church as youth pastors. And I got a phone call to become a next gen pastor to oversee nursery through youth. And he's like, but I really need you to focus in on kids ministry, because our kids pastor at the time is going to be leaving. And so I laughed. I didn't even mean to, but I laughed like, you want me to be a kids pastor? That's not who I am. I'm not called to kids ministry. And he's like, all right, just if you can, just pray about it. I'm like, sure, I'll do that. And I'll pray about it. And I didn't. And I didn't sleep for the next 3 nights. And the third night, I'm like, okay, Lord, I'm yours. What are you trying to talk to me? On my knees. God, what is it? What do you want? And God said, I called you, period. And so I called him that very morning, and I said, hey, if you're still interested, I'll be willing to walk through all the hoops that you want. And if God closes the door, he closes the door, but I want him to close the door. And so, through it. And then I had no idea what I was doing, and that's when I called you.
Oh my goodness. Well, this behind the scenes is I still don't know what I'm doing. So I'm glad it worked out for you, and you're still in it for 9. You know, you've been in it for 8 years.
Yeah.
You know, that's amazing. And I did the same thing. I have the same story. When the board at the We Assembly of God asked if I would take over the kids program, my first gut feeling was one of like retching. Like I wanted to retch, like, like work with kids. That sounds like a terrible idea, right? And and I remember when it was very similar. All of a sudden, I felt like this, like that was the only thing that made sense, and it didn't make any sense, right? But I remember going and asking the pastor. I said, "Can I run kids ministry the way that I would have run as a kid?" And I remember he said, "What does that mean?" And I was like, "I don't know. Make it fun, you know." And he had no idea that would be like fires and like fire, slime, and breaking windows and all that stuff.
And
you know,
magic in church.
Yeah, magic. Right, exactly. So, I love the fact that you involve kids. We have a 3rd grade leadership team, and because I think had you had, and this is a true or false statement maybe, had you had a better experience as a kid, like a valid experience as a kid, then do you think that you may have had a different taste in your mouth when someone said, "Hey, would you consider being a kids pastor?"
Honestly, probably not.
Okay.
Even was in youth group, I loved working with kids, and so I would go and help out every now and then. But I just didn't. I didn't feel called to work with kids. I thought my calling was for youth ministry, and so,
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I've always gravitated to working with kids. I think they're fun. They have a great personality. They keep it real.
Yes.
They're going to tell you whether you want to hear it or not. That was terrible, and you're like, "Oh, I worked on that for a week."
You know, that is so hard, man. Like there was one time we had this giant barrel of slime set up, and we had this giant barrel of slime set up, and it was filled with slime. We had a chair with a plastic over it. We had a big plastic drop behind it. I was building it up. I had epic music, and we were going to literally dump a barrel of slime on like one of our leaders. And this kid raises his hand on the front row and goes, this is boring. When are we going to do something fun? I was like, are you kidding me? Right? Like, do you not see? Are you not entertained? You know? But that's the beauty part about kids, man, is they're honest. You know, they're going to tell you whether they like something or not. And I love that about kids. And like, I look at youth now and I'm like, I don't want to work with youth. And God, that doesn't mean that, you know, it's not one of those like, oh, I'll never work with youth. You know?
Yeah.
I love working with kids.
Tell God never.
Right. So you guys, this may seem like a side note, but you and your wife love, and your family loves going to Disneyland, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So why? I have my reasons, but like when you go to Disneyland, like what's one of your like why do you? I'm just gonna ask you, why do you go to Disneyland?
My perspective has changed throughout the years. I loved it because I was completely immersed, and I forgot about whatever was waiting for me at home, because they hit every sense. You know, they hit your smell, your looking, the touching, everything. And so you're immersed, you're in a completely different world. And I love it for that. And then now that I have kids, I love seeing it through their eyes. It's a whole nother experience. And then if I keep a mindset for work, I like to scope out things, and man, I can do that. How can I ministry? It's Disneyland, sadly, is our goals for me for our kids ministry.
I love it. I do the same thing. Like I'm caught between being caught up in the moment and feeling like a little kid, you know, walking around with my lightsaber and my X-Wing fighter pilot helmet, you know, looking like a total fool. But then also just absorbing it. Like, what does the ground feel like? What do the attendants sound like? What do the lines look like? Like, how does it feel to be on a ride? Like, I want to capture that, put it in a bottle, and like bring it back to kids' church. You know, you guys have kids, and can you describe the first time you brought your kids at an age where they could understand? But like, what was it like to go to Disneyland with your kids?
So I haven't taken my daughter yet. That's going to change hopefully this year. But Alakai, Kaylani and I, we had annual passes. You can call us pass holes. So our son was free until he went to 3. So we went as often as we could. But I remember the moment where like it just like clicked in his eyes, and he was just so excited. And it was during, what parade was it? It wasn't. It was one of the day parades that they had, but I didn't even look at the parade. I just pretty much watched my son, and it was amazing.
Wow. It's fun to experience it yourself, but like when you bring a kid for the first time, there's something really magical about watching them experience it, Yeah. And I can't help but think that in kids' church, our objective is the same. My dad just says, how is it that kids know how to pretend so well, to dream, imagine, and create? It's because they live a life of practicing those things every day. Wow, it's so true. It's so true, Dad.
Wow, that's
so true.
Mic drop.
And I think that's one of the reasons why I mean, at least from my perspective, why it's so important to involve kids. Because I think, isn't it like, imagine if like you took your kid to Disneyland and you handcuffed them to the gate, and said, all right, kids, Mom and Dad are going to go enjoy Disneyland. You can watch from afar, watch us having fun, but that's your goal for today, is watch us having fun. But, this is not for you, right? Yeah. This is just for you to watch, Like, that would be completely, I think then you would truly be that, should I say the pass hole that you called it?
Pass hole.
I can't believe it. Am I going to get in trouble for that one, Ben?
Yeah.
Annual pass holders.
I do resent that, because I've been trying to get a pass for a couple years now, and you hoggers, you're just hogging it all up, right?
I have not had one since my son was born, so
I'm just messing.
That makes me feel any better. In 6 years.
I feel a little better.
I'm
just kidding.
having withdrawals.
Yeah. So,
but back to kids being giving them ownership. That's what I wanted to hit on. When you give a child, something to do, they really take ownership, and they love it. They're going to be committed. You'll be surprised of how committed a student will be. Okay, if you're going to do this, you got to be here at this time, and we got to go over it so that we can know what we're doing. They're going to be there. They're going to drag their parents so that way they're there, because you've given them ownership, which I loved it. What was it, Hunter?
Hutson.
What he said. Kids don't get opportunities, and so when you're giving them an opportunity, it's the biggest thing in the world to them.
Yeah. I just, kids ministry is the long game. You know this, that you pour your heart out into a service, and then the kids go home and their parents say, "What'd you learn about?" And they say, "I don't know." You're just like, they do know.
They say it was boring.
Yeah, it's like, oh, come on, But it's the long game, and so it's sometimes, like Pastor Scott Hagen once said, children's ministry is not glamorous because there's no immediate satisfaction. Like when you're in youth ministry and you see those kids at the altar, and I'm not saying kids can absolutely have an altar experience at church, in an instantaneous way, but for the most part, kids are the long game, man. You can have that amazing move of the Holy Spirit, and a kid could literally come up to you and go, what's for dinner, or what's next, but that doesn't mean God didn't move, but okay. So what are some, you said you involve your kids in the tech booth. Do you have an organized way of using kids, or does it just happen organically on a Sunday?
So I typically like them to attend one and serve one. So we have 2 services, and awesome. So that way they are getting fed. They're not just there to serve. I think that's better when, as an adult, they're responsible for their walk with the Lord. And so we get them, as a church, we get them 40 hours an entire year.
Yeah.
And so I want to give them the experience, let them have the fun, and not make it to where it's a job for them. But if they are really wanting to be there, And serve, I'll put them on once a month, and I'll talk to the parents. I'll make sure it's okay with the parents. I'll say, hey, look, so and so came up to me. He wants to help out. This happened 2 weeks ago. Josh, he wants to help out, but I wanted to let you know if that's okay, because I typically like them to attend one and then serve one, but I don't want to make it mandatory. But he will if he could do it once a month. And parents are usually fine. They're ecstatic. Oh, you're going to use my kid? Yeah, that'll be great. And so that's typically how I do it. And then we'll have a few who are typically go to both services every week, and I'll just put them in a rotation.
Yeah, that's awesome, man. I've honestly never thought about the attend one, serve one with kids. We do that with our adults, but with kids, you're right. It's important to do, the get fed so that you can feed, as kids, do you have them ever speak? Because I've noticed that whenever I have a kid to give a message, and sometimes it's like, they work for weeks on it and then they speak for 30 seconds and then that was it, but do you find that the adults, their parents, like get really stoked when you involve a kid in a very specific way like that?
Absolutely. Yeah, parents want to know that their kids are being used. I mean, they'll travel cross country for sports.
Yeah.
And so, to have them in on a Sunday and say that they're needed and you're going to use them in whatever form or shape, parents love it. They dig it.
That's awesome. I've honestly never thought about that. Parents will literally put their kids in 3 different sports, and they will literally skip church.
Spend how much money
for
on
kids, and they'll spend all this money on it because they want their kids involved.
Yeah.
And talk about taking a cue from our parents. And Jonathan, I'm not just joking. I've honestly never compared the sports with kids ministry, but it's so true. If we're not involving our kids, it's like making kids watch Little League instead of play it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's go to a Little League game, same age, everything, and let's just go watch it.
Kids, we're going to the game today. We're professional watchers.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Well, I want to go into a segment with you. It's our book intro. So forgive me while I play book intro. It's going to cut away for a second, but we'll be right back.
There we go.
Our book of the month is the last time we're going to spend on this one. It's called Maximum Entertainment 2.0 by Ken Weber. The portion I'm going to read in there is dealing with spectators. And it says, if possible, let the volunteers get the laughs. And I'm talking about kids that you you ever bring up kids on stage? I need a volunteer, which, by the way, is one of the most magical ways to get kids' attention. Just say, I need a volunteer. You suddenly got at the attention of everyone in the room. Either they don't want to be picked or they want to get on that stage, right? Yeah. It says, if possible, let the volunteers get the laughs. Laughter is laughter, regardless of its source. And all laughter is a desired reaction. Plus, you look even better by allowing the rookies to share the spotlight with you. And it's not, now this book's focus is about performing, but it's not about looking better, but I would replace the word, instead of looking better, with you're more effective as a leader. And then oddly enough, it says never announce I need a volunteer. And I highlighted it. The reason it says that, because if you're in front of a group of 1,000 people, if you say I need a volunteer, and now this is actually some wisdom here, because it can go either way. You can say I need a volunteer to get attention, but if you say I need a volunteer and you only need 1 out of 100 kids, there's 99 disappointed kids in the room, right? So it's like I've had to resort to whoever's got the envelope under their seat. I don't know. But it also says the skill of choosing the right person develops over time. In general, the person who desperately wants to join you on stage is the last person you want.
Whoa.
You ever get that kid that just so badly wants to get on stage and then gets up on stage and uses it as an opportunity to just, like my grandparents used to say, stop showing your butt. You know,
Wait,
you ever
what?
get that?
Wait, they said, what does that mean?
They would say, "Stop showing your butt." I mean, it's like, stop being a show off. Stop, like,
Oh,
get in the program. Like, do what you're supposed to do. Don't just be a show off.
that's funny.
And your father used to moon everyone all the time.
I was like, yeah, why are they saying that? Oh, hey, look, we can all sit here. Hi,
Jamie
guys.
Walton just said, I just want to acknowledge Jamie Walton. She's one of our national office leaders. And, you know, speaking of involving people and getting involved, just a quick side story. When you think of national leaders, you often think of them like this.
If
right?
you, without the context, like
Without the
you
context,
think of
right. And that's not how I think of national leaders. But
of course not.
when we went to summer camp, Jamie was literally on her hands and knees, like moving chairs.
Man.
And so I just think that as a role model to kids, absolutely, you get involved, you pitch in, roll up your sleeves. But going back to the, you know, the idea of picking the right person, I think it does translate. Like, Jonathan, how do you pick? Like, if I don't know if you've done this before, but I've made the mistake of going, "Who wants to work in the tech booth?" They all raise their hands. I want to work in the tech booth. What's your process for finding the right job for the right kid?
I don't let them just work it. I have them shadow for a few weeks until they got it. And
I love
so
that.
they're
Okay.
earning their place there. They can't just be there just to be there and
Right.
talk. And so if they're back there and I'm catching I go back there and they're like talking, not even listening or paying attention. I'm like, all right, go have a seat. I'll get somebody else. And so I hold a standard to be back there, and it works well.
It's good. It's good.
Did I answer that question?
Yeah. It's having them shadow. I think it's also a part of like understanding like what that kid's passion is. Charles Christina, thank you for commenting. Praise the Lord, brothers. And he's from India. So Charles, God bless you, man. And thank you for being a part of this. But, you know, and that's the great thing, you know, kids are kids, whether they're in India or the United States or Africa, kids are kids, man. You know, but finding a kid, you know, the Bible says train up a child in the way that they should go, meaning that it's our job, not only as parents, but as kids pastors, to figure out what God is calling a kid to. You know, a kid may want to serve backstage, or they may want to sing, or they may want to speak, or they may want to study something, or they may want to whatever, you know. But I think that's important, an important part too, to get those kids involved. So, Jonathan, thank you, man, for all your wisdom. You know, and
Absolutely.
for continuing to be a part of such a much needed, I almost said industry. That's not the right ministry. It's, you know, there's not enough of us, man. You know this. Like, I love your inspiration. I love how you go to Disneyland. You've got Star Wars stuff behind you. I have weird stuff in my office that Pastor Greg comes in and says, like, he just shakes his head and walks back out. Speaking of crazy, a couple weeks ago on our board behind me, the wheel landed on Bomber. So I'm going to let you talk to Ben. I'm going to go get Bomber, and Bomber wants to have a couple minutes with you, if that's okay.
Absolutely.
Okay.
All right. Hi, Pastor Jonathan.
Hello.
Hey, do you know who Bomber is?
I have no clue who Bomber is.
I want to start this off that
What did I get myself into?
it's great. You know, I
Save
obviously
the best for last, right?
right.
He's already committed now.
Yeah, we got you in here. So he is a character that he's been around since I was, you know, I grew up in my dad's kids ministry. So I you know, I was a part of, I was a problem student in my, you know, it being my dad, it was hard not to be. But I remember meeting Bomber probably the first time when I was like 5.
Yeah.
And yeah, he's a real stand-up fellow, as you'll soon. I try to avoid talking about Legos for one,
Okay.
and shoes.
Okay.
You'll get him in a loop and he'll just stay there. So avoid talking about Legos, shoes, Boba Fett. Boba Fett. He likes the Boba Fett kind of Legos.
Okay.
So
All right.
that's pretty good. Do you got characters that you do with your students?
I'm sorry.
Do you have characters that you do with your students?
We don't.
You don't? Okay, well, hey, that's awesome. I think we're just about ready, speaking of which. All right, Bomber. We're putting you on. You ready?
I'm ready.
Okay, here you go. Good luck, Pastor Jonathan.
Thanks.
I like this. I like
Hi,
this.
Boba Fett. I
This
mean,
speaker.
Bomber.
This is a good speaker. I'm gonna put the speaker. I'm gonna say, "Hi, speaker. This speaker here sounds real pretty. I like eating pistachio nuts. What do you like to eat?"
I like pistachio ice cream.
I like to eat cookies, cause especially when they're from the Ben kind, you gotta take his cookies.
Those are my
and
cookies.
You're gonna eat it, and then you gotta put it in your pocket for later.
No!
Put it in my pocket
Bomber!
later, and then you gotta get all.
It keeps it warm too.
The cookies all crumble up now. How's the weather there?
It's a bit rainy.
Do you ever go outside and stand in the rain and then take your hat off and fill it up with water and then put it back on your head and say, "Oh, my head's all wet now"?
Never. I should try that.
You ever spin in circles like 1,000 times and then wonder why sometimes you trip and fall when you're spinning around?
Never.
Oh, you got Boba Fett in your background. I like the Boba Fett. I play Legos, and sometimes I put Legos in my shoes, and my mama says, "Boy, don't do that because you hurt your feet." I said, "I know, Mama, but I'm gonna get a job at the shoe store, and they're gonna get me some new shoes."
All right, Bomber.
Yeah, what kind of shoes do you like?
I got a Boba Fett kind right here. I'm gonna put this together on a show, and then Chip's gonna go, "Ooh!" You got one too?
Great.
You're the best kids pastor in the whole wide world.
I don't know about that.
You're the best. Sometimes Sean makes me stand outside in the rain, and I say that's okay because I got my hat on.
There you go. Well, thank you, Bomber. That's
welcome.
wonderful.
I'm gonna go eat some more of them cookies.
Okay, no, you're not going to do that.
I'm gonna eat those cookies real good.
One in your pocket.
Yeah, don't.
I'm gonna run around with this here sharp pencil.
No.
This is a sharp pencil. You gotta run around with it. Run.
That's not good, Bomber.
I put it in your bed and then say good night.
You can't run around with that, Bomber.
Okay.
Okay, thank you.
You can put it in your mouth like a pirate.
No, Bomber, stop it. Get that out of your mouth, Bomber. Come on.
All right. I'm going to get one more piece of wisdom before we end our show.
Okay, all right. What's your wisdom?
Hey, Jonathan, what's the name of that character in the background? That little woodsy-looking owl figurine.
That one?
Yeah, it looks like he ate a bunch of toothpaste and then threw it up and then ate it again.
What?
He looks like he's made of popcorn.
This guy?
You
tell me. What's his name?
His name is Sporacious Cromus.
You're absolutely correct. Great job, Bomber.
Yeah, he looks like he's a friendly fella. I'm going to put him in my jacket, and I'm going to get him all rustled up, and I'm going to stop around, and then he's going to say, "Spark." Well, thanks for coming on our show today.
Thanks for having me.
I hope we changed your life and made it better.
Absolutely. I'm going to stand in the rain and fill my hat up.
Okay, that's good. I'm going to go to the store and get myself some more Boba Fetts.
There you go, Bomber.
Okay. All right, we'll see you guys next time on In My Shoe? I'm going to see you guys next on In My Pocket.
In your pocket.
Okay, it's all messy now.
All right, Bomber. That's great.
All right, hey, watch this. I throw a cookie at Ben's face.
Hey, Bomber!
That was a fun move right there. I like throwing cookies at people's faces, too.
Oh, thank you.
Jonathan, thank you, and thank you, everybody, for watching. That's our show for today.
Yeah, see you next time, everybody. Thanks again, Pastor Jonathan.
My pleasure. Thank you.
There we go. All right. That's great. All right, Bomber.